today we're looking at solving quadratics. So we've solved quadratics now for 3 years, and that's great. But what we're after this year is the exact solutions. So we don't want any approximate solutions. We're going to keep surds in our solutions. But we're going to start right off at the beginning, so very quickly through all of the normal solving equations. So remember the rules of solving equations. First rule is the quadratic must be equal to 0. So you may need to rearrange it to get it equal to 0, and once you've done that, then we're up to the number 2 one. Can it be, is there a common factor? If there is, remember that we have to take it out, all right? So common factor, take it out, make it easier. Number 3, factorise. So there's a certain number of things to look for when we're factorising. The first one is, have we got a perfect square? Perfect square. So that means when we factorise, we get an x plus a squared situation. All right? Second one is the difference of squares. So that means we've got something squared minus something squared as our question, so that we can actually put them into 2 brackets. And then we just do a usual what multiplies to this. So we might have a situation what multiplies to this and adds to that. I'm going to just call that normal for the moment, because that's the one we've been doing the longest. And the last one is if we have to use what I call windows. So maybe none of the rest is work. Will this work? And then there's a case where it may not work. We'll deal with those ones later. So just skipping through these, let's have a look at a couple of examples. X squared equals 9. Now, that looks really easy, and we all know the answer is 3, but it isn't 3, it is a quadratic. So technically we should write it as that. Quadratics always equal to 0. Now we've got a difference of squares. There's no common factor. So when we do the difference of squares, it's what multiplies to give negative 9 and adds to give nothing. So x plus 3, x minus 3, and the answer's negative 3 and 3. All right, pretty easy there. Next one. What if we have 5x squared minus 15 equals negative 2x. Hopefully this one's going to work. So what we do is we rewrite it equal to 0, 5x squared, that should be 10, plus 10x minus 15 equals 0. Next one, take a common factor out. That common factor is 5. 5x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals 0. What multiplies to negative 3 adds to 2. That's the normal sort of situation. So that's x plus 3, x minus 1. That 5 doesn't give us any answers, so we can just drop it, because if we divide it on this side by 5, it would go away. So we're only interested in the brackets. In this case, if there was an x there, we'd have an answer. It would be 0, but we don't, so it's x, negative 3, and 1. All right? So those are 2 examples. What's a perfect square? So a perfect square is where we have x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 0. So it multiplies to 4 and adds to negative 4, x minus 2, x minus 2. So we've got the same answer twice, or x minus 2 squared equals 0, so x equals 2. Only one solution in that particular case. Right, let's go to a windows one. So we need to have 2 things that multiply So we may have had to rearrange this to get it equal to 0 like that, but once we're there, we've got no common factor. There's no number that can be taken out of all of them. It's not a difference of squares. It's not a perfect square. We can't think of a number because of that 6 in the front. So what do we have to do? We arrange it into a window. So this one times this one is negative 12x squared. This is negative x. We want to add to that and multiply to that. So what two numbers add to negative x and multiply to negative 12x squared? Correct. Negative 4x and positive 3x. Right, then we put the curtains in. So we take these parts. We just dealt with that part here. See, those two pieces make that. So we've got 6x squared minus 4x and 1. And then 3x minus 2 over here. So we factorise this one. What comes out of that? 2 and an x. So we get left with 3x minus 2 and 3x minus 2. And the reason I've written the plus 1 there is because this is a common factor, 3x minus 2, and what's left over goes in a bracket, and we get our answers out of that. Our answers are, remember we divide by the number in front, so 2/3 and negative 1/2. All right, so that's just a bit of revision of quadratics, and you've got some work to do on that.